Hey, what's up guys? It's Smith Gaming Hub, back with, actually, some new content. This is going to be a review. This video is going to be an honest look at a game I purchased recently called Big Pharma. I'll be breaking down the positives, negatives, the mechanics of the game, the price tag, the fun, and other factors, which will be then calculated into my personal opinion on the game. At the end, I will give a score of 1 to 10, with 5 being average and 10 being a must-own. Of course, keep in mind, this is just my opinion, and it's not the end-all, be-all score for a game. It's just something to take into consideration when wondering if you're going to shell out some of your hard-earned cash to Steam. So Big Pharma is a game about running your own pharmaceutical company, producing all kinds of drugs, creams, and syringes in an effort to turn a profit and do a lot of good in the process. The drugs you make in Big Pharma can range from simply soothing coughing pain to drugs that fight and cure cancer. The more complex drugs open up later on in the game as you unlock new technologies. With that being said, let's get into the process of creating drugs. So this is how in Big Pharma you make drugs. So essentially, you have these different little slots that you start off with when you first start the game. Basically, you click on one of these, and you'll have two different ingredients available based on the parameters and settings that you decide. And essentially, it'll display how much it costs to import that ingredient right there, and then it will show what this ingredient can potentially be. So, for example, this ingredient, salty Fortis chunks, can potentially soothe cold symptoms. It also has a side effect that it can cause, which it can potentially cause fatigue. This drug over here, bitter dilicate residue, can potentially be an antihistamine, but it can also potentially cause headaches. Now, we're going to focus on this one right here, because this one is a good drug. Essentially, and I'll tell you that in 1 second why. Essentially, you have something called concentration, which is essentially, think of it as the number that drug has. So this drug has 1 level of concentration right now. So that means that the bar for it is right here. If we moved it up by 1, then boom, we'd have access to the green bar, which is the antihistamine, but we also wouldn't have the side effect of causing headaches, because it wouldn't be 1, 2, 3 above where it is right now. So essentially, a good majority of the gameplay is essentially trying to get these drugs concentrations to where you want them to be, to where they can be something useful. Now, the game gets much complicated later on, where, you can essentially remove side effects with certain machines, and you can upgrade your lower level drugs to do better things, and I will get into that later on in this review. But for right now, I'm just basically going to be showing how you would go about that. So we go here and hit import, because this one's a very good one, because we wouldn't even have a side effect to worry about. We would pop over here, and basically start off with, you have 2 machines. You have the dissolver and the evaporator. The evaporator increases the concentration of a drug by 1, and the dissolver decreases it by 1. So we're looking to increase this drug's concentration, so we're going to take an evaporator, and using the mouse wheel, we're going to put it into place like that. Then we're going to put a belt right there. The green is the input slot, and the red is the output. All we need is 1 evaporator for this machine. Now we're going to go here to the makers. Now eventually you can unlock different ways of producing drugs, but for right now all we've got is the pill printer, which converts it into a pill. So we're going to take that, rotate it around to another one of these slots, and you want to put 2 down. Now, if you don't have the money, you don't have to, but essentially, pill printers are a little bit slower. The processing time is 2, whereas a regular machine is 1, and belt speed is also 1. So essentially, you'd be waiting around and wasting money, so you always want to put 2. Now we're going to take a belt, hook it up, and bam! That's all there is starting off. So, of course, this gets much more complicated as the game goes on, and you need more space and stuff like that. But anyways, we'll unpause the game, and we'll see our drug get brought in right there. Goes into the evaporator, and then it comes out. And this is what it looks like when it comes out. It is an antihistamine, and it doesn't cause headaches, so it has no side effects. So, it'll give you the raw material cost, which is the material that the drug is made out of, and then the processing cost. The processing cost for this drug is incredibly low, because there's only 1 machine, really. Well, 3 machines if you count the pill printers, but that's it. So it's a very low processing cost. The drugs will get made into pills, and then they will be exported.
Product name
you'll also be asked to name it. So, I don't know, we'll name this, Allergen X. And, just like that, unpause the game, and, you're making money. And then in the bottom left here, you'll see instead of losing money, we are now making money. So that's, essentially the foundation of what you're going to be doing in Big Pharma. The technology tree in Big Pharma is where you acquire better machines to produce your drugs and cures with. You hire scientists for a yearly rate and assign them to what you think will be the most useful machine. I particularly enjoyed this aspect of Big Pharma, as it always felt as though I was unlocking something new, and it always gave me a reason to keep playing Big Pharma. It definitely can be a short-term goal, and any short-term goal in games are always going to keep you playing. Top of the technology tree, you also hire explorers, who you assign to go out and get new ingredients to work with. This aspect, or rather these aspects of managing the amount of explorers and scientists that you have, is one of the most compelling things about playing Big Pharma, as money management is key. As your factory starts to grow and progress down the technology tree and acquire new ingredients, new gameplay options open up. Some ingredients contain something called a catalyst, which, when paired with another drug, and it upgrades the other drug's effects to do something amazing, such as fight bronchitis, regrow hair, fight schizophrenia, and much, much more. These aspects of Big Pharma make it really fun to experiment with different combinations of ingredients to get some really profitable and life-saving cures. While managing all these things, you'd imagine it gets confusing, but the UI in Big Pharma does a phenomenal job of conveying information to you in an effective and non-invasive way, which improves the quality of life dramatically for whoever is playing the game. The UI was never clunky, never cluttered, and really never got in the way. As far as graphics, Big Pharma has a clean and animated look, and the game looks above average. It's nothing amazing, but it was never something that took away from the experience. Some might even say that the game has a unique art style. So, Big Pharma has a couple of different ways to play it. As soon as you hop onto the main menu, if you go to New Game, there's multiple different ways to play the game. Firstly, there's a very nice tutorial which will easily teach you how to play the game, and it's not overly long or drawn out. You've got the beginner scenario, which are some easier challenges if you're just starting to play the game. Then they have a medium difficulty scenario, which has got a bunch of different goals and different kinds of missions you could do in it. Then there's an advanced scenario, which is definitely for, if you're a little more advanced at the game, and definitely some harder scenarios there. Then there is a quick start option, which basically starts you with additional basic technologies and an extra ingredient. And then there's one for if you're really feeling like you're great at the game, crippling debt. You basically start with a small map and a ton of debt. Then there's also one called Room to Maneuver, where plots are half the price, but there's fewer sockets, which is definitely another challenge one. And then there's one called Full Unlock, where you unlock with all the machines unlocked, but so do your competitors. So there's definitely a lot of different ways to play. There's also a free build mode, which will allow you to go in and just, play around, essentially a sandbox mode. Then there's the custom game mode, which is definitely the way that I play the most personally. You can set what level ingredients you could go up to. You could basically customize everything you could possibly imagine about your game, which is really sweet. It's nice to see that you can customize just about everything. And then of course there is a free build mode, which basically you can just hop right into, and you have unlimited money, you have a ton of plots, and you can play around here. This could be a good way to learn the game if you're feeling like you're not too sure about some things. And those are really the main ways to play in Big Pharma. There is no multiplayer mode because, there really couldn't be. I mean, I guess there could be, but yeah, those are the current modes that are available to play with in Big Pharma. So, in conclusion, Big Pharma is a fun game. If you're someone looking to get into tycoon and management style games, Big Pharma can be a great entry point before getting into the more complicated games. I give it an 8 out of 10. With a $25 price tag, it's a must-have for anyone who is a fan of tycoon games and is interested in the pharmaceutical industry. I hope you guys enjoyed this review. If you did, smash the like button and hit subscribe and turn on notifications. See you guys next time, and have a great day.